How you guys doing, and welcome to my book reviews. Today we're going to cover the book Bold by Peter Diamandis. Now, if you don't know who Peter Diamandis is, look him up right now. Google him right now. Reason I tell you that is he's a freaking badass. He's trying to help us go to space, right? So another Elon Musk, if you will, maybe not as wealthy, but he's a badass. So he's wrote multiple books, guys, on entrepreneurship and success. And this book, Bold, is amazing. It's probably by far one of the best business books I've read, and I've read quite a few. Over hundreds of books I've read, and this book changed the way I look at business. So before I dive into the top 3 takeaways that I got from the book, I want to tell you why I'm building this portion of my channel, just so you get an idea. So the first one is I want more people to read books. Very plain and simple. I think that it's a huge resource that is underutilized by a lot of our generation as well as young people. And I want to make sure they understand that knowledge is power, and you can basically take Peter's knowledge and steal it from him for whatever this book cost me, $15. Or you can go to the library and get these books, right? Number 2, besides that, is I am reading 60 books. So this is a selfish part of my channel where I get an opportunity for myself to keep myself accountable to reading books over the course of 2018, which so far I've read close to 12 books. I'm going to read over 60 books this year, which is super exciting. And ultimately, I'm going to be able to look back and get my summaries for myself. So let's dive in. So the number 1 takeaway is simply this, and this is why I believe this book should be read by every single entrepreneur or wantrepreneur, right? Somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, is that there's no excuse not to run your own business these days. Literally nothing. In 2018, currently, you can essentially access, because of the internet, you can access multiple resources that we weren't able to take even 10 years ago. Right? There's different websites like Fiverr and, different things like virtual assistants and different ways that you can actually save money and get multiple different results and get people all over the world to help you build your business. Now, I'm not going to steal Peter's thunder. You need to read the book to get all the details. But ultimately, after reading this book, you will literally go, there is zero excuse. Obviously, you still have to execute, still have to run a business. But what it did for me personally is I run a multi-million-dollar construction company, and I was thinking very linear, which we're going to talk about next. And what he focuses on is exponential and how to have exponential results as an entrepreneur. So again, number 1 takeaway, no excuse not to run a business because of the amount of resources we have compared to even a decade ago. And let's take 100 years ago, the insane amount of work, money, infrastructure it took to run any sort of type of business that you wanted to do. Number 2, like I mentioned earlier, is linear entrepreneurship versus exponential entrepreneurship. And this is actually a huge takeaway for me because, like I said, I run a multi-million-dollar construction company, and I've been growing. We've been growing about, on average over the last 4 years, about 50% per year, which for any business out there is excellent. But that's very linear, right? Even though we're growing, it's linear. What exponential is where it's like a plane. It's slow, and then it takes off, and then you can't stop the growth. And the reason that that's so important to me is it started making my brain go on haywire mode, basically trying to figure out how I can either take my construction company to that level or how I need to start multiple different businesses to make sure that I get exponential growth. So again, exponential entrepreneurship is the key. And in this book, he's going to give you the keys to that. So I'm not going to steal Peter's thunder again because I want you to read this dang book. So that's just one of the things that you have to understand that this book is going to talk about, which is exponential entrepreneurship versus linear entrepreneurship. And a lot of people think linear versus exponential, including myself. No longer do I think that way. Number 3, if you're not embarrassed by the first thing you put out as a businessman or businesswoman, then you are not starting early enough. So I think too many people out there are trying to put the perfect product out. I think they're waiting, they're branding, they're getting their business cards perfect, their logos perfect. And here's the truth. You should look back after a couple of years of running your business and be embarrassed by how you started in a good, positive way. So what I mean by that is I can't wait to look back on these videos, guys, and realize that, these were, made, just willy-nilly. But what I discovered, though, is that at the end of the day, if you put out content and you run your business and you just try it and you try, fail, and adjust, try, fail, and adjust, try, fail, and adjust, you actually get the results you want. Action equals results, which equal motivation. Same thing goes in entrepreneurship. And I think too many people don't take the action. They have this idea, they want to execute on it, and this whole entire premise of this book, which is super exciting, is exponential entrepreneurship, but it's really just how to get a business off the ground, no matter if you're just in your living room or you're an individual person, how you can actually access resources all across the world for nothing or for very inexpensive costs, like $5 to have someone help you make a logo, right? So there's a lot of different ways, guys, that you can do that, but understand right now, like I go back to that first one that I gave you guys, which is there's no excuse not to start a business. What this book will do is get you excited about starting a business. So if you're out there right now and you want to start a business, I highly recommend picking this book up, because it will, after you're done, it's going to make you want to go execute and figure this out. I'm going to give you a bonus tip here. Okay, so the bonus is that what he's focused on, you heard the word flow, right? There's millions of books out there on flow. There's millions of things on the topic of that. And what I recommend you guys do is this, is Google what flow is. But what flow is a state when time seems to just go, right? So let's just say you hop in your car, you're driving, and you've been making that same drive for years, and 2 hours later you're at your destination, you don't know how you got there. That could actually happen in success as well, where you are so used to being awesome, where you focused, you're in the zone, and time just freaking ceases to exist and you're in flow mode. And so what I have written down right here is he told a really good story about stone soup. So again, read the book, but stone soup. So what the story was that back in the day, this guy came into a neighborhood, and this was, when, Indians or Native Americans or, basically in the Stone Age, where, you will show up and they go hunt and make their food. And he got there and he was really, really hungry, and he went around, but everyone kind of had to keep their own food because there wasn't a lot of it. So he was trying to figure out how he can essentially eat. So he went around and he asked everybody for some food, and no one would give it to him. And so ultimately what he did was he said, all right, guys, we're going to make stone soup. And everyone got excited. They're like, what is stone soup? And everyone surrounded him. So he took some stones, filled it into a water pot, and he said to the first person, hey, you know what would be good with this stone soup? If we had some carrots. And the person's like, oh, yeah. So they brought the carrots, and he cut those up and he put them in. And then he looked over at another person. He said, you know what would be delicious with these carrots and these stones? So if we had some potatoes. And they go, oh, okay, cool. So they get some potatoes. And then he kept doing this over and over until finally he had soup. And what he discovered was that with people, right, and when you're in the flow with a team and everybody's helping each other, now everyone had this delicious soup to eat versus everyone kind of hoarding their information. And that's essentially how life is these days, where when you have an idea, all you need to do is talk about it, and you need to get the right resources in and get the right people to actually follow what you're trying to accomplish, and you will succeed. So here's the deal. In this book, there's a lot of detail on how to crowdsource, how to crowdfund, how to get the appropriate resources to win as an entrepreneur, especially an exponential entrepreneur. But my biggest tip to you guys right now is pick up the freaking book. So please subscribe below, guys. I'm going to be giving these book reviews out once a week. If you can, I actually have made over, I think, 8 of them already on many different great books. So I recommend you guys check those out, the previous ones. But go pick this book up, especially if you want to run a business and have a successful business. It literally goes detail by detail on how to do that, like I said, in terms of specifics on how Peter actually started up a business that is going to allow people to go into space. If that's not a huge goal, then I don't know what is. And if that's not exponential, I don't know what is. And he did it without having any of the resources already there. He basically created stone soup, and now he has the resources. So good luck, guys. Read more, read more, read more. I'll talk to you later.